Yes, I can hear you. Yes, Princess, blessed. How is the eye? Yes, Honorable, blessed, with thanks. We'll be going live in 5 minutes. 5 minutes, we'll be going live. We give thanks. As we'll be doing Livity live on Helen Television System in St. Lucia and also on our YouTube and Instagram account. So we give thanks. We give thanks. Blessed love, Honorable Kawe. Give thanks, blessed love, Rastafari. Blessed love, Honorable Lana Mela. Studio. Yes, world boss, give thanks. The El Waldo himself. Honorable, give thanks. As definitely tonight we're just going to be looking at as we say, we are live on HTS and also we are live on Instagram and live on YouTube as we just waiting to start off. 3 more minutes before lunch off. So we give thanks for such a wonderful moment. The topic today is reproductive wellness. We'll be talking of reproductive wellness today. We're going to do some reproductive wellness. Look at the reproductive system and see what great herbs like for woman and for man, and we will utilize for proper reproductive wellness. Yes. So write down your questions as you have an opportunity to come in and ask your question. Reproductive wellness. Yes, Eddie, give thanks. Rastafari. Yes, Honorable Princess, blessed love, give thanks. Seven Seals Movement, yes, Majesty, give thanks. Rastafari. Two more minutes before lunch off. Well, 1 more minute, in fact, before lunch off. Yes, Jason Monroe's give thanks. The volume is low. Well, I don't think I'm speaking very loud yet. I'm just probably, I don't know. Yes, blessed. Yes, Valerie, blessed. We're going live right now. Give thanks for life. Yes, we do give thanks for life for the mighty life giver, and we give thanks for all good things around us as sent from Zion above. So we praise Farai for all his divine love. Definitely welcome to Livity as we are live right here with you tonight, Tuesday evening, as we are live every Tuesday evening on Helen Television Service at 9 o'clock in the PM time until 10 PM. Definitely speaking of things that are pertinent when it comes to our overall wellness. And this evening I wanted to address the topic of reproductive wellness, and it would be a topic that I would have to do in 2 parts, right? 1 part for the man and 1 part for the woman. So this part I will focus on the whole topic of reproductive wellness for the woman. Very important, because I mean, it is very common that young people, very young people, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds. I mean, right now we have 18-year-olds, you know. We have 18-year-olds who basically, right, who have polycystic ovarian syndrome. You know, we have 18-year-olds that have fibroids, you know, and 13-year-olds who have polycystic ovarian syndrome. You know, so we are in a state of being whereby the reproductive wellness specifically, right, when it comes to our sisters, right? I mean, there are plenty issues. And it is very important that, as most times when people come, they say, well, priest, I have PCOS, you know, I have fibroids, but you have something for fibroids, or you have something for cysts on the ovaries, you know, and then people always ask that question, do you have something for cysts on the ovaries? Yet still, do the woman really and truly and fully understand her own being to even understand, okay, what is polycystic ovarian syndrome? When somebody says that you have polycystic ovarian syndrome, what does that mean? Right? What are the symptoms? What's happening? You know, so the woman has what we call a 28-day cycle, what they refer to naturally as the menstrual cycle, right? The menstrual cycle of the woman, right? The menstrual cycle of the woman specifically is what you would call a 28-day cycle, meaning that the whole process of ovulation, right, the process of the preparation of the egg, the gamete, the sex gamete, to be released, right, in a cyclical way, not just any way, because the woman's greatest power is that she's able to bring forth life. She carries that seed. Yes, the man contains the sperm that actually unites with the egg of the woman, but the woman has a finite number of eggs, whereas the man would have millions, hundreds of millions. When a man ejaculates, a good ejaculation by a man is over what, 300 million sperms, 400 million sperms in an ejaculation, yeah. Whereas the woman, right, has a finite number of gametes, right? She has a finite number of sex cells, eggs, that she actually produces for her lifetime, right? But the man, when the man ejaculates, is 400 million. Okay, right. Now, understanding that the whole menstrual cycle of the woman, that whole flow, that whole, people might just call it menstrual cycle when they see what they call a period, or as we say, they're on the journey, right? People, if you understand that whole cyclical change that the woman has every month is just for the maturation and releasing of that egg at a particular point of that cycle, once every 28 days. So that process is what they refer to as ovulation. Now, we must understand that the woman has the female reproductive organ of the woman, what people would just call the vagina. But the woman's reproductive system is not just the vagina. The vagina, in fact, is basically the canal that is right after what you have, the outside, the entry into the vagina of the woman is what they call the vulva. So what you see on the outside is not even what I would call the vagina, but I mean the vagina is really that canal. The vulva is the entry, the vagina is that canal, and right after that canal you have your cervix. Now the cervix of the woman is basically that separation from the womb of the woman, right? And then you have the vaginal canal. So you have like outside and inside of the woman. So even if one goes inside of the vaginal canal, the environment inside there is very acidic. Very acidic. And that's why as soon as a man ejaculates, because when a man ejaculates, the reason why he has to drop 400 million sperms is because when he ejaculates, that 400 million sperm, when it hits into the vaginal canal, he has to overcome a barrier. Yeah, the pH, the acidic nature of the vaginal canal itself is basically detrimental to the sperm, you know. So as the 400 million sperms come out, I mean probably about a couple hundred millions might just stay right there, right? And from the vaginal canal, you have that cervix, that muscular structure with that little hole that separates the womb of the woman, which is like in the pelvic wall, right underneath the navel, your navel, about an inch, 2 inches underneath the navel of the woman. Right underneath it, the womb is that space. It's not like the vaginal canal. That's two different spaces. The pH inside of the womb is different than the pH inside of the vaginal canal. That's two different spaces. Right? So, the whole 28-day cycle, the purpose of it is to prepare the inner lining of the womb. So, you have this muscular lining. And just because you know that, on the 14th day of your cycle, remember, the cycle of the woman is a 28-day cycle. Right? The cycle of the woman is a 28-day cycle. So you expect that on the 14th day of the cycle, what's going to happen on the 14th day of the cycle? You're going to have an egg released. Right? Now, the fact that your physical structure is expecting the release of the egg, the inner lining of the womb would become thick and spongy. And what causes that is a specific hormonal change within the woman within that time. So we understand that the whole preparation of the inside of the womb for the release of that egg from the ovary on the 14th day of that woman's cycle. So what is the 14th day? The 14th day of that cycle is, you count day one from the first day of what you would call your menses or the period, or as we would say, the journey. Okay, it's really a journey. Right? So, day one, when you begin to see the hemorrhaging, so day one, the woman is actually hemorrhaging, bleeding. Then you count from there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. The 14th day is what you would call ovulation. That means that a mature egg has left the ovaries and entered into the fallopian tube of the womb of the woman. That means that because the ovaries and the womb is like, it's two different spaces, you know. So for the egg to actually enter into the womb, right? It basically has to come out of the ovary that is outside of it. And the, what they call the fallopian tube have finger-like projections that grabs that egg and it enters into the fallopian tube and then comes right into the corner of the fallopian tube. And when the sperm actually comes up, they call it the ampulla of the fallopian tube. That is where the sperm and the egg actually meet. But that egg actually came out of the ovary, had to be cut, enter into the fallopian tube, right? And then right in that corner, if it is that yes, you are planning to have baby, and then on that 14th day and everything is working good and thing, boom, you ovulate, and then you come together, oh, the sperm swim up and bam, it gets it right there. I mean, it's supposed to be that simple. But for a lot of people, it's very difficult. So it is important that we understand that pregnancy or having a baby is not something that just happens, man. You have a very intricate cycle that is actually controlled by specific hormones at particular times. So while that egg is maturing to be released, the inner lining of the womb is getting thick and spongy. Thick and spongy. That when it is that the egg and the sperm actually unite on that 14th day or that 15th day, that it goes down into that spongy layer and sits into that nice spongy layer inside of the womb, whereby it could anchor itself inside of the womb of the woman. Right? And then you have your amniotic sac and all these things that start to develop, and boom, 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 and baby grows in the womb after 9 months, boom, water back bursts, and that's it, and baby's out into the world. Right? But if it is that does not happen, whereby the egg and that sperm don't unite, you don't have what you call conception, that inner lining that was being prepared for the egg and the sperm union, the embryo, it breaks down. It breaks down. And that is what comes out as the period or your menstrual cycle. Is that preparation that was made for the egg and the sperm union. But because it never happened, that preparation has to be broken down and passes out as what you call your mens or your journey. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Do you understand what I'm saying? Are you sure that you understand what I'm saying? Let me know if you understand what I'm saying. I mean, those of you listening on Instagram and on YouTube, and let me know if you fully understand what I'm saying. And for those of you on Helen Television system here in St. Lucia, I mean, you could put the number on the screen and people could call in and let me know whether they understand what I'm saying, because it's very important that we have that understanding. Because if it is that we don't have that understanding of how it is that the cycle of the woman actually operates, then it will be very difficult even for us to understand what you call polycystic ovarian syndrome or fibroids or any of these things. Very important that we understand that fully. Yes, Sunflowers Goddess said yes, she understands most definitely. Juicy James, yes, Chris. Melissa Designs, very interesting topic, but do you understand what I'm saying? If you don't, let me know. Black Zilla, understand. Trinity.30.5, yes, understand. If you don't understand, let us know that you on YouTube also, let us understand together that, okay, it's an intricate cycle, but the cycle is that the whole thing, if you understand that the whole menstrual process is in preparation, anticipation that an egg and a sperm is going to unite and is going to anchor itself into the endometrial lining of the womb. Right? That's the inner lining. So when the 13th, 14th day, right, is coming, that lining there from day 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, That lining is getting thick and being prepared for what you call conception. But because the egg and the sperm never united, what happens is that the egg actually comes out, then you have a hormonal change within the physical structure of the woman. And the womb begins to contract. And the inner lining of the womb, the endometrial lining of the womb, begins to disintegrate, break down, and she passes it out as what you call your period. Very important. Very important. Right? So when you overstand that, then if I tell you, well, the ovary is a separate structure from the womb. The womb. So even like you have your womb. So you have this female reproductive system where you have different organs, right, actually coming together to perform this reproductive task. And one of the very important things is to understand that this is what you would call a very biochemical reaction. Everything that happens for the woman is biochemical. That means that it is controlled by hormones, messenger system. So chemicals in your bloodstream controls everything that is happening within your physical structure. And it is important that you understand that. Because when the egg is actually released from the ovaries, the egg is normally in a capsule called the corpus luteum. So the egg is not just there lying in the ovaries. It is encapsulated, and they call it the corpus luteum. Right? When that egg matures, it's released out of the ovary and goes into the fallopian tube. But that corpus, that shell, that capsule of the egg remains there. And what it does is that it produces the hormone progesterone. And what it does, that's why they call it now the corpus luteum of pregnancy. So if it is that the egg and the sperm unites, that shell is going to stay there and it's going to be producing progesterone and prevent you from having another cycle. Very important. Very important. The capsule called the corpus luteum that holds the egg. After the egg is released on the 14th day of the cycle of the woman, that capsule actually stays in full effect, especially when it is that the egg and the sperm unite. That's going to be producing all the progesterone needed to prevent you from having a menstrual cycle until right, your physical structure, the womb, has actually fully embedded the fetus into it, and you have your amniotic sac, everything being produced, right? Then you have your placenta, right? So all these things, that then you have these hormones there begin to be produced by the other aspects of your physical structure, and then that sac withers away and get reabsorbed. Now the important thing is that lots of times when a woman has PCOS, she has what you call polycystic ovarian syndrome. Polycystic ovarian syndrome means that poly means many. Cystic is like a fluid-filled sac. When you have a cyst, it's like a fluid-filled sac. You might have some type of cyst, because I have all type of things inside of it, but it's more like a fluid-filled sac. All right? Polycystic ovarian. So you have many cysts ovarian in your ovaries, and that a syndrome is like you have a multiplicity of symptoms. You have different symptoms, like you bleed in between cycles, right? Or Your cycle, you might bleed for a whole 3, 4, 5 months, or you might not have a cycle for a whole 2, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, no period at all. No cycle at all. Right? If you understand that, then you'll understand what happens when it is that in your ovaries, you have plenty of cysts, plenty of fluid-filled bags in your ovaries. And because of the hormonal imbalance, that means that you have too many maturing eggs. So these then now get reabsorbed into the matrix of the ovary. But because you have so many of these sacs, you have an increase in progesterone. So most times people with polycystic ovarian syndrome are infertile. You know, they are literally infertile. They have to get fertile, they have to literally get rid of these cysts, because their body would always believe that they are already pregnant, because the cyst in itself increases the amount of progesterone within the bloodstream. Very important. That's why plenty people with polycystic ovarian syndrome, they don't have a period and they are infertile. Right? Because they're going to feel like they're pregnant. They're going to feel vomiting. They're going to be feeling nausea. They're going to feel all type of things, just like they're pregnant, but they're just not pregnant. Why? Because of the increased production of progesterone. Very important. So the lines are open: 1-758-452-2693, and then also, if it is that you want to ask a question on Instagram or on YouTube, definitely you could type it in, or on Instagram you could, yeah, then we could actually take your questions that you have, right? Whatever the question is, because you have to ask significant questions to actually get significant information, because we have a lot of information to give. So when it is that we deal with conditions like polycystic ovarian syndrome, right, we understand that these conditions, because the feminine's physical structure, right, is so heavily controlled by hormones, we understand what trauma, right, and stress and depression and all these things there, what is the reality on the wellness of the woman when she's suffering all these different type of things there, right? So it is important that in dealing with things like PCOS and fibroids, that the first step, we say, well, 70% of it is emotional. Because you might not believe it, but the great majority of our sisters are people who go through trauma all the time, who have been abused by somebody or the other. Yeah, most of the sisters we see outside there. So a lot of these sisters, they are carrying lots of burdens inside of them, right? And a lot of pain of past experiences. And whenever that they think of this pain, it brings them sadness, depression, anxiety, and all these things there is basically as a reflection of, right, your cortisol surge. What causes underarm color after being pregnant, and what can be done to heal the issues? Underarm odor. Oh, okay. We'll get to that shortly. Right, so it is very important that we have that full understanding. Right, when we understand that, then we could actually check for ourselves. All right, so for underarm odor, I would say, well, the most simple thing would be to use a rag when you're bathing. Number one, just make sure when you're bathing, take a rag and scrub. So most times people don't scrub underneath the arms when they bathe. And then you could apply some juice, a juice of sour orange or a juice of lemon or seeded lime. You add the juice underneath your arm. It helps to deal with that. But definitely you need to clean your colon and clean your blood. Colon cleanse, blood detox. Drink some cassia or something of the forest. Yes, long 68. PCOS, I pray my black lady friends receive healing from. Yeah, they'll get received. Greetings, family. Truth, peace, blessings, love, Life and light. Give thanks, Corey Edward. Give thanks. What causes bad period pain? Bad period pain is because of cramping. You know, because it's contraction of the endometrial line, the muscular lining of the womb of the woman. Right? So the more that you have cramping, right, contraction of the womb muscle, the more pain you have. And sometimes because of the clots that the woman actually have inside of her, the flow is very difficult to actually be initiated because of the flow of blood. Yes, caller, blessed. Yes, caller, go ahead. Yes, blessed. Yeah. Yeah, but birth control, excessive estrogen. Because the birth control, for what the sister is saying, she says that the doctor said that she got blood clots because of birth control. Birth control contains estrogen and progesterone. And what estrogen does do, it does increase clotting. You understand? So one of the side effects of birth controls is clotting, blood clots. It's in the box. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, but there are people it have killed, right? Because yeah, you have to balance your hormones. You have to give us a call. You need to balance your hormones. Okay? You need to balance your hormones. That's what you need to do. Alright? And then what you have to do. I don't know if it is that you have blood clot in your leg, that's a dangerous thing. That could lead to what you call a pulmonary embolism. Right? Meaning that clot could move towards your lungs and can literally take your life. So it is something that you have to be very mindful of. Right? And very observant on it. Well, you will just go to our store in on Jeremy Street and they'll talk to you. Yeah. Yes, my sister. Alright? Blessed. Give thanks. Love. Love. Alright, so question. Honorable Priest, do you have any documentation or herb manual or something like a book, Natural Healing? Yeah, brethren, I mean, you don't know that? Come on, man. Yeah. The herbal manual. Check it out. priestkailash.com, akimpia.com. Okay, my niece get a lungs infection because of that same birth control. Blessed Lord. I give thanks for life, Danny Kuchi. Is there a plant or plants for knee and back pain and lose weight? A plant or plants for knee and back pain? Well, knee and back pain, as we always say, massage the area with warm castor oil and kind of a powder, deep tissue massage. Lose weight, bladder rock, sea moss. These things are excellent. Peace family, what do you approve for yeast infection? That's in man or woman? Well, yeast infection, as we would say, is one of the most common things that our sisters would be having, yeah? You know, and then basically yeast is a yeast infection is like a fungal infection. It's like what you have fungus actually growing within that area, right? And the reason why is because the fungus is a parasite, so it likes to be places where you can get food and the environment is good. So if it is that you are going to deal with frequent yeast infection, You have to consciously work towards creating an environment within your physical structure that fungus don't like. So you have to cut down all starchy foods, all bread and biscuits and all these different type of things. You have to cut that down. You understand? You have to cut all these different things down, right? And also that would actually cut the amount of sugar in the blood because fungus love sugar. That's why if you put bread in a bag and leave it there after you pass 2 days, it have fungus on it, right? So the same way because it loves the sugar in the bread. So when you consume plenty of sugar-rich foods, right, it actually increases, right, your susceptibility to fungal infections. All right, so that is why now, if it is you have a yeast infection, number one, you cut off all the starchy foods, all the sugary foods, right? And then what you do now is that you consume more green foods. You understand? You consume a lot more green foods, green juices, right? You consume more fresh vegetables, more fresh fruits, right? So in that way then, you have a greater control of what you actually put within your physical structure. You understand? So if it is that, and you don't eat too many sweet things, more complex carbs, if you eat in a carb, right? Because what happens is specifically is that when it is that you feed the yeast with too much sugar, it actually proliferates. And when you stress a lot, it suppresses your immune system. And fungal infection that only gets bad when your immune system is too weak to actually control it. Okay? Yes, caller, blessed. Yes, my sister. Are you on bifondral pins or you said no? Okay, right. I was just asking. Well, most times is especially weight around the belly region is estrogen. So you'd have to basically boost up your thyroid function too. Meaning that consuming what bladderwrack is iodine rich food, lots of iodine rich foods. Alright? That in itself would help you a lot. Iodine rich foods, then you have herbs like St. John's bush. You know what they call St. John's bush? Yes, St. John's bush, red raspberry, all these different things that could assist you. Alright, so you have to be consuming these things there. But the red raspberry, definitely, it's even better to have it as a green juice if you could blend it and drink it. Blend it, strain it, and drink it. Alright? One more question? Okay, go ahead. Because that WhatsApp number 1758-722-3660. Yeah, blessed. Honorable, give thanks. How do you go about using neem? Well, you could chew neem. You could drink a cup of tea 3 times a day if you're diabetic. 14 leaves to a cup of hot water. That's all right. Honorable priest, you speak on black root. I don't know. Right, so as a sister said, I used to get yeast infection all the time, and a doctor told me I was wiping the wrong direction after urinating. Yeah, and after defecating also. Sometimes people push feces into the vaginal cavity because they wipe from the anus towards the vagina. All these simple things. Yes, blessed love. Yes, caller. Now it's appointment. We don't even. Yeah, you have to call the number. Yeah, the WhatsApp number you see there, you could WhatsApp it. They'll tell you when you WhatsApp it. Yeah, bless them. Honorable priest, okay, all right, give thanks. So I don't know if anyone on Instagram has any questions, you're not hearing the question that people are asking because it's coming through the microphone, through the earpiece. Because as we say, we are live in St. Lucia, live on Health Intelligence System, and also we are live on YouTube. So when our local callers call ahead in that earpiece, so if it is that you want to call on that line, you could actually call to, it's 1758-452-2693 if you want to. What are the best herbs for MS and brain damage? Multiple sclerosis is marijuana, right? Multiple sclerosis deals with the demyelination. So you have the myelin shift, which is like an insulation cover over the nerve, and that shift now is actually coming off. So then, because it's coming off, it's like you have a bare electrical wire. So it's just touching stuff and sparking and doing all type of thing within the physical structure. So multiple sclerosis, right? What helps a lot is cannabis, marijuana, and brain damage also. All right. It's not tea tree oil; it's castor oil and cayenne pepper powder. Okay. So any more questions? 175-845-2693, 175-722-3660. That's WhatsApp. You could ask a question via WhatsApp also. Good evening. What causes hair loss in women once you begin menopause? Well, sometimes most women, when they go through that phase, they have an increase in testosterone, the male hormone. So that can cause baldness. Honorable Priest, what is good for acne inversa, also known as hidradenitis or suppurativa? Okay, all right. It's a tough word there, boy. Yeah. As I say, all these things there is estrogen dominance. We have to balance off the hormone. Balance off the hormone. Because the reason why an 11-year-old child, a girl, might start to grow pimples on her face and start to grow breasts is because at that age, she has a surge in the hormone estrogen. Now, if it is that you have that surge over a long period of time, what's going to happen? Your breast is going to grow bigger, enough different things going to grow all around your place. So, definitely it is very important that you understand, the whole realms of hormonal imbalance, how it is that it affects everything. It's all about the hormones. All about the hormones. Honorable, what do you recommend for an infertile man with no sperm in semen? Well, plenty of sea moss and green drinks, like like Spanish needle, vervine, stinging nettle, gully root, and wearing more loose clothing. The looser the clothing, the cooler the testes, because it's also a tradition whereby a man could sit in cold water, just to boost up sperm production. Okay? Yeah. Honorable, what are the effects of removing your womb? It's terrible. When the woman moves the womb, probably sometimes if she leaves the ovary, then you still have a certain amount of hormones being produced, but when you move the womb, it's like you have, like, the woman goes into menopause right away. So it's a terrible thing. Very, very, very terrible. Give thanks. What herbs are good for brain health, concentrating and retaining information when studying? Other vervine, rosemary, cannabis, but it also takes a lot of work from, not about just drink the herb and expect everything gonna stay in your head. You have to do the footwork also. You have to study. You have to, repetition is a key to all learning. Can the hair loss be reversed and the testosterone be calm? Of course. Yes. The 7 seals. Blackroot, can you speak on that if you're familiar? I'm not familiar. I don't know what you could really call blackroot. Maybe you could talk to me about it. Yes, caller, blessed. Honorable, blessed, give thanks. Well, You have Rastafari. You know, and if it is that, what the caller is asking, how do we get to that higher sense of consciousness? It's about a lot of honesty, you know, because even if somebody is a Catholic and they are sincere and they are looking for truth and they are looking for a connection with the spirit, if it is that they follow the practices to the T, right, and do their praying and fasting and then they do their thing and whatever it is that they do, if that person do that, they could reach a level of consciousness by just following their whatever it is that they are doing honestly, wholeheartedly, and they are true to their spiritual path. Everyone has their many people have different spiritual paths. A man's relationship with their God is something that is very personal. So with spirituality, any tradition that a man could hold firm to and be consistent with it for over a period of time, definitely, man. Yeah, you can attain this level of consciousness as long as he's honest. You just have to be honest. You know? You just have to be an honest being, that's all. I did a fast to help me with my stomach and parasites of the mouth. Why do I keep getting bloated and stomach pain? Well, I mean, probably you have H. pylori infection that you'd have to check of. If that's the case, you have to use lots of bitter herbs. We have a product called the dewormer. You could get that on our website specifically. And then you have to stop stressing. People that stress a lot get stomach problem a lot. Right? So if it is that you're getting consistent stomach problem, know that emotionally you need to balance yourself. All right? Stop stressing. Try to have a good time. Yes, Honorable Chris Kailash, I am one that enjoys working out, taking drugs. Drink your sea moss and your thing. That's good. And your green juices, your zepina soup, and all these things. Very good. Blessed love. Remedies for constant fatigue, drowsiness in the ascension process. Well, I'm bladder rock. Very important. Good night. What can be used to help reduce the effects of PCOS? Well, we have a female package for PCOS. You could check on it, female package. Definitely, could you look at the utilizing of herbs like red raspberry, you know? Definitely, could look at St. John's bush. You could look at Zera zedri. You could look at Serasi, what they call kokompuli. All these herbs, they're the elderberry. You know, all these herbs, they are excellent herbs, specifically for the woman. Excellent. Right? Livity 30.5. Do you have the herbs to help with the hair issue, and how can I find out more? Definitely, you could send us an email, info@priestkailash.com, info@priestkailash.com, and we could assist you. Yes, the phone lines are open, 175-845-22693. Give us a call, as we have about 10 more minutes before we close off. We give thanks for this opportunity. If one of you want to join in on our live on Instagram and ask your question, definitely you can send your request and then we can take that. Is PCOS hereditary? Of course, PCOS has a hereditary component, you know, because your mother passed inferior genes to you, you know. So it has a hereditary aspect of it, because it's sometimes, you know, most times whatever trauma that the child going through, the mother went through it already, you know. So it has a lot to do with what you call, and the spiritual realms of it, like where you have generational curses and these things there, because of certain things that just happens in that family over and over again. And it takes someone to stand up and just to say, no, it stops. And start to check for themselves. That's it. So it's important, trust me. So we said constant fatigue, we said the bladder rack. Do you have any herbs to help the hair issue, and how can we find out more? Said send me an email, info@priestkailash.com. Definitely will assist you. 4522693. What are the herbs that can be used to strengthen the woman's physical structure? Herbs to strengthen. Yes, caller, blessed. Honorable. Yeah, St. John's Bush. Yeah. Yeah, you could get it at the restaurant in town. Yeah. Yeah. But it grows well in St. Lucia also. All around the place, yeah. Mm. Yeah, okay, give thanks. Yeah, blessed. Love, give thanks, love. Everyone needs to know what the herbs look like, eh? Everyone needs to know what the herbs look like. Some of the key herbs for proper reproductive health in the woman is the red raspberry, the vervine, the St. John's bush, the cerasee bush, right? Very, very, very important. And if it is that you have lots of clotty cycles, the bay leaf, the Caribbean bay leaf, right? The Caribbean bay leaf helps the blood to flow very, 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 very good. So the herbs are the red raspberry, your vervine, your cerasee bush, right? And which one you said again a while ago there? Vervine, red raspberry, cerasee bush, and I think we had said St. John's bush, right? Very important. The St. John's bush, key herb, and also the bay leaf to help with the flow, right? And also most times the woman need to flush out the womb. The syrup made from the inside of the calabash is a very good womb cleanser, right? And for the women who actually bleed too much, they can utilize the periwinkle herb to actually stop the excessive bleeding. Very, very important. All right? So I don't know if you have any more questions, any more calls, as we are winding down with another approximately 7 minutes. You know, do you understand the cycle of the woman? How it actually works? Can you please tell me what's good for gallstones? I think you want to know what's bad for gallstones. I mean, if it's good for gallstones will get big and fatter. Right? There's a herb called Shanka Piedra, what they call seed on the leaf. That's a master. Utilize that. Could you also utilize what they call the Spanish needle, and you could utilize the cassia alata. The cassia alata. And then what you do is that you squeeze the sour orange. Okay, free sour orange. Okay, about 3/4 cup of sour orange juice, and then you add a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil. You stir it and you drink it just before you go to bed, and you lie down on the right hand side. That helps to clean out the gallstones. Right? With the cylinder leaf, the cassia alata, right, and also the Biden spilosa, what they call the Spanish needle. Can you explain what you mean when you say wash the womb, cleanse the womb? Because the womb needs to be cleansed, literally, like it flows better, like you take out all clots and every different type of thing, increase the contraction in the womb. That's why when you cleanse in the womb, you cannot be pregnant, right? Because it actually cleanses the womb. It can make you have an abortion if you cleanse the womb while you're pregnant. Not good at all. All right. So it's basically cleansing out, taking out all kind of old stuff out of the womb, all stuff. What good for heartburn? So it can't be good for heartburn. That will be bad for heartburn. Basically, you're making sure that you are happy. Very important. Take your time to chew your food. Don't eat too much, right? Just eat just enough. Don't eat too much. Some people eat too much. That's why they always have heartburn, and they eat too much of the wrong things. Okay, so yes. So if it is that as a woman you want to balance off your hormones and you want to live good, I gave you a series of herbs that you have to look at. You have to look at it. These herbs are very powerful. Anytime that you have anemia and your iron is low and then you want to boost up your iron, you use the red raspberry leaf. You just blend that, strain it, and drink it. It's like an infusion into the blood when you drink it. If it is that you want to boost up your iron also and you want to balance your hormones, or you want to cleanse out the womb, meaning that you want the womb to actually contract and clean out, then you have to use the St. John's bush. Right? The St. John's bush. And the St. John's bush is a herb that when you draw it in hot water, it literally comes red. Okay? So this is very, very effective. That's good for you? Okay. Yes, we will take our final call if you have any more calls. 452-2693. Our final call, as we are definitely close enough, and we do give thanks for all those people who were here with us tonight, all those people who who learned about the cycle. So you could tell me what you learned about the cycle of the woman. I don't know if it is I call you and I ask you what's that, and whether you're going to know, but you would have to be taking your notes and making sure that you write everything and understand what it is to actually have a cycle of a woman, and it's very important, man, as a man, that we understand that. We'll be taking the last call. The last call for the evening. I heard it coming. Yes, caller, blessed. Yes, honorable. But a cramp in your leg can mean plenty things. Probably a cramp in your leg could even mean blood clot. So you have to go and check and make sure that you have no blood clot. Right? If it is that, and it can also be through trauma, probably something somebody knocked your leg or some type of thing. Right? But so cramp in your legs. Probably should send me a picture of what your leg look like. Which one? You remember what type of tea it does make? So that's gonna help you. Well, a chichima going to thin the blood, right? You could include bay leaf also, right? And I don't know. It definitely would have to see you. Where? Well, you could look at what you call stinging nettle. You could look at cassia lata, and you could also look at that herb there, shine bush. What do you call that in Creole again? Shine bush. Yeah, the shine bush. Just pour some hot water over that and eat that like a salad. That's very good for high level of inflammation. All right, and the cassia lata also. The cassia lata. Okay? Alright. Give thanks. Yeah. You're welcome. Have a blessed night, my honorable sister. Love, blessed. Greetings, honorable. Heart of love, sending greetings from Toronto. Blessed, give thanks for the greeting. So the sister was just talking about having circulatory problems. And you're not hearing me because I'm hearing it right inside her head. And she was saying that she's on turmeric and certain other herbs. And I said, well, turmeric is a blood thinner, right? But she could have added the japana and also the shapati, and also, some bay leaf to that regime, which would actually help to make everything a lot better. Yes, give thanks for life and almighty. Like if I'm see somebody requesting to come in live, let me just hear what they have to say. We're just going to take one requests. We're not going to take 20 people, and just hear what the question is, and afterwards, right, we'll just go into the setting up because we only have about 3 minutes on this live. As you know, we are live also with Calabash Television. Oh, Zebak West, you right, Robert, my friend. It's Zebak West. Yes, my brother, blessed, how are you doing?
I want to give thanks to you. You know, I've been dealing with you since last year, COVID, you and Akeem.
Give thanks.
And but telling you about my old lady. We having a brand new baby boy.
Oh, give thanks, man.
We're having a brand new baby boy due September. Because when we was talking about I use your product, to clean the womb.
Yes.
Something about to clean the womb.
Yeah, man.
Because after she had the miscarriage, we wanted to make sure she get all that stuff out of her. And now listen, we have a baby boy due September, man.
Give thanks for the love, man.
I wanted to tell you that whoever's watching, I've been using this product since COVID, since May of last year, since I came out the hospital. I use all their product, and I just want to let the people know, the people that's watching, the people that's probably listening. I just want to let you know I really thank you for my progression in life, giving me a second chance, and that's from the deep of the bottom of my heart. And I salute you and Akeem. I really do. I just want to share that with you, man.
Give thanks for the love, man.
I sent you the gender reveal on your Instagram in the inbox, but you never responded. But I just want to let you know. Thank you.
Give thanks for the love.
Thank you, man.
Love, man. Give thanks,
I
man.
still continue to use your product to this day. I just had me some animal root, gully root tea before I just got on the phone. You know, I drink that for my immune system. Everybody, that's something to drink every morning whenever you get a chance. It's just, I'm just thanking you. I'm just happy to be alive. Thank you for what I can.
Give thanks for the love, my brother.
All right.
Heart to love.
Don't hold you up, but thank you.
Give thanks. Love. Blessed. Love, man. Blessed. Yeah, so give thanks for the brother. I mean, definitely he says that, yeah, that's one of the things that lots of people, you know, actually get lots of benefits, you know, when they actually use the products, you know. So I give thanks that the brother, you know, got these benefits, and I pray that he utilizes his benefits, you know, to the best of his capacity. As you know, it's a lifestyle, it's a Livity. Definitely give thanks that he is in the Livity, right? So yes, give thanks as our time is definitely up on us. And as we're talking about the woman's health, you know, I didn't even mention the female package. Yeah, what he's talking about is the female package. We do have a super female package on our website, and also you could check on akimpierre.com or priskerash.com definitely to get these packages. Okay, so this is it for this evening, as our time is definitely up. So we just give thanks for this beautiful space and being with you right here, and we look forward for coming Tuesday evening, whereby we could actually continue in such place. Give thanks for that person.